In this short video, I'm going to break down how to create this pulsating picture effect. Now, this is something that can be done in Adobe After Effects and then imported into Articulate Storyline, but it can also easily be achieved in Storyline itself. So we're going to break down how this can be done in a couple of easy steps. So here is my Articulate Storyline file. And you can see that all of the elements in this pulsating picture effect are not on the base layer, but they're actually on their own layer. And this is required to achieve that pulsating effect. This layer essentially needs to be repeated over and over and over and over again in a loop to create that effect. So you can see that I have 5 elements on this layer. The first is the image, and then I have 3 circles that I have positioned behind the picture itself to create that kind of concentric border effect. So I have my first oval here, which kind of creates the inner border, and then I have a middle oval and then a larger oval, all in different shades of blue. Now the inside border is not animated. There's no animation on this circle, so it is not part of the pulsating effect. But the middle and the outer oval both have a growing entry animation that lasts for 3 seconds and a fade exit animation that lasts for 1 second. And to create a kind of progressive pulsating effect, I've offset the entry of the outside circle to come in a ½ second after the entry of the middle oval here. So to create this pulsating effect, we need to do 2 things. The first thing we need to do is shorten the timeline of this layer to somewhere around 3 seconds, which kind of matches the time required for these 2 animations. And then the second step is to add 2 triggers to this layer. The first trigger is to hide this layer when the timeline ends. So after 3 seconds, this trigger will be triggered and hide this layer. And then the second trigger is to show this layer when the timeline ends. And so essentially what these 2 triggers are doing together is they are hiding and then starting up this layer again, thus kind of resetting this layer over and over and over again. And so the animations on the middle and outside oval continue to start up over and over and over again. And that's what creates that pulsating effect on these 2 shapes. So I've also added a arc shape here in red. And I've also animated this arc shape with a spin animation that lasts for 3 seconds. And so this arc animation also resets every 3 seconds with these 2 triggers. And that creates an effect where the arc looks like it's slowly rotating around the image and the borders. And so that adds another element to this pulsating animation. So that's all that needs to be done on this layer. The final step to achieving this effect is simply adding a trigger on the base layer that shows the pulsing circles layer when the timeline starts on this slide. And so that will show the pulsing circles layer when the timeline on the base layer is started, thus kicking off this pulsing animation. And then once this layer has been shown, these 2 triggers, the hiding and the showing trigger, essentially reset this layer over and over and over again to create this pulsing effect. And we can see that if we preview the slide here. And so here's this pulsing effect. You can play around with the frequency of the pulsing circles and the speed by changing the times of the entry and exit animations, and also the length of the timeline on that pulsing circles slide layer. And that's how you create this effect.